Okay, now we are going to see about the memories in embedded system. First, what is the mean by machine cycle? So, machine cycle is a unit that refers to a time required by microcontroller to execute an instructions. We have also seen the units in a microcontroller, which is a control unit and execution unit. First step is fetching and obtain program instructions or data from the memory, and second one is decoding that instructions and translate the instruction into the commands. Third, it will given into the control panel. So third is execution, carry out the command, and fourth one is store or write the result to memory. Memory in the system, three there are various types of memories are used. First one is internal RAM at microcontroller and RAM at system on chip or external RAM, and internal caches at a microprocessor, external RAM chips, and flash EEPROM, a ROM or a PROM memory addresses at the system ports. Memory needed is a ROM or a EEPROM. Functions of ROM is storing application programs from where the processor fetches the instructions code, and storing codes for system booting, installation, and initial data, initial input data strings. And RAM is a random access memory, which is storing the variable during program run, and storing the stock, and storing input and output buffers. ROM is a read only memory. For example, a ROM is a CD. We can only read the memory. We cannot change or edit anything in that row in that memory. RAM is random access memory. We can see, we can read, and we can reset the instructions in that memory, and we can edit the program in that memory. Okay, EEPROM and flash caches. It's storing a non-volatile resource of processing, storing copies of instructions and data in advance from the external memories. And now we are going to see about processor selection for embedded system. Important considerations of a system designer to selecting a processor is instruction set, maximum bits in operand 8 or 16 or 32. It may be 8, it will be a GPP, and if it is a 16 and another type APP, and clock frequency in megahertz and processing speed millions instructions per second. Processor ability to solve complex algorithms. In processor selection for embedded system, it has four cases. In first case, system has processor instruction cycle time is approximately 1 microsecond, and chip devices and memory can suffice. Okay, and examples are automatic chocolate vending machines and 56 kilobits per second, and a modem, robots, and data acquisition, and real-time robotic controller. And case 2 is a system has processor instruction cycle time maybe approximately 10 to 40 nanosecond, and nanoseconds average on chip device, and memory do not suffice, and medium processor performance is required. Example is image processing, media, voice data acquisition, and multimedia, and voice compression, video decompression, and 2 megabits per second router. And case 3 is system has processor instruction cycle approximately 5 nanoseconds or 10 nanoseconds are required, and high MIPS and MFLOPS performance is indeed. Examples are multiport 100 megabits per second network transceiver, first 100 megabits per second switches, and routers, multi-channel fast encryption and decryption system. And case 4 is a system has instruction cycle time of even 1 nanosecond does not suffice, and very high processor performance is required, along with the use of floating point and MAC units. Examples are voice processor, video processing, and real-time audio or video processing, and mobile phone systems. Okay, and next one is selection of memory device. Actually, memory requirement is known only after coding. ROM and RAM allocation for various segments, data and structures will be available from the software diagrams. Prior estimate of memory type and size can be made. Various kinds of memory devices are available, and memory requirements of one system is varies with another system requirements. For example, single credit and debit transcoding card may require 2 KB of memory, and a smart card for a secure transaction may require 32 KB memory. A complex embedded system may need huge in MB. It vary for types of applications. Okay, from the memory device, a data byte, a word, a double word, or a quad word may be accessed from or at all addressable locations. First one is ROM. ROM is a read-only memory. Is a non-volatile memory. It is more useful for embedding codes and data in systems. ROM embeds the system or an application logic circuits is in the one of three forms. And first one is masked ROM, PROM, and EROM. When ROM is to be programming during the runtime, and it is to hold the processed result, and it is used as either an EEPROM or a flash memory device. We have to see the masked ROM. A masked ROM is a built from a circuit which has R inputs and 8 outputs, which means A0 to AR minus inputs and D0 to D7 outputs. Now, the circuit for mask ROM is one of set to power or. The embedded system manufacturer used mask ROM does not use a device programmer ROM burner. Each time a system ROM is made using EEPROM or PROM. Masked ROM is or never written at the system manufacturer level. Okay. EEPROM, and the special versions of ROM can be programmed at the designer or manufacturer site for embedded system with the help of device programmer, which is EEPROM and EEPROM, that is E square PROM. Okay, EEPROM is and ultraviolet rays crassable and device programmer programmable read only memory device. Erasing device means restoring one at each bit in the cell arrays at each ROM address. E square POM is an electrically erasable and programmable read-only memory device. And first one is masked PROM and EEPROM. Third one is flash PROM. That is flash PROM. It is a recent 5-volt from form of EEPROM, which is sector sector of bytes can be erased in a flash. A sector can be from 256 bits to 16 kilobits. Okay. Advantage of this flash PROM is a crashing of many bytes simultaneously saves time in each array cycle that precedes a write cycle. Disadvantage is once a sector is crashed, each byte writes into it again one by one, and it takes too long time. Already we have seen the memory is divided into two types of ROM and RAM. ROM is a read-only memory, RAM is a random access memory, and ROM is classified into PROM and EROM and EEPROM, that is E square PROM, programmable read-only memory, and erasable programmable read-only memory, and E square ROM, electrically erasable program read-only memory, and RAM is a static RAM and dynamic RAM. Okay, and ROM is a read-only memory, and read-only memory is a non-volatile memory. It can be non-volatile memory. It can be read from but not written by the processor in an embedded system. Traditionally written to programmed before inserting to embedded system. Uses of ROM is store software program for general purpose processor program instructions. Can be one or more ROM words. Store constant data needed by system. The structure of ROM only memory is here. We can see this two selection chips, and it's a 9-bit address is a EAD and 8-bit bus systems, and random access structure of random access is here. It has a 2 extra ports, read and write, and it also has a 2 selection SIP selections ports and 8-bit bus system, and memory functions is inhabit, write, and inhabit, and RAM is a random access memory, and it is volatile memory. A system designer consider RAM devices of 8 forms, which is a static RAM, dynamic RAM, and non-volatile RAM, and extended data out RAM, and synchronized DRAM, and RDRAM, that is a RAM bus DRAM. and parameterized distributed RAM, parameterized block RAM. RAMs are made from a cell consisting of MOSFETs. There is a one cell each for a bit in the memory. It is volatile and loses data immediately after the power off. Two forms of RAM are static RAM and dynamic RAM. And a battery backed RAM is called NVRAM. And static RAM. Static means once a processor cycle writes a bit cell, it remains unchanged until it modified in the processor cycle or until the power switches off. It has 4 MOSFETs per cell. Advantage of static RAM is static memory do not need any refreshing circuits and write to SROM RAM needs as long as power is on. Disadvantage is as 4 times less memory density per chip for given level of MOSFET channel length. Speed of operation in a CMOS pair is less when compared to an MOSFET at the same channel length basic circuit. And direct memory access, it's a least processor invention. Direct memory access. I/O devices need to transfer the data of one system into the memory addresses to the from the another system. Okay, a system may also need to transfer data to the I/O devices to be transmitted to the other systems. The direct memory access is required when the multi-byte data set is a data set or a block of data is to be transferred between two systems without the CPU, which means for example, direct memory access, we can say pen drive. Without CPU, we can transfer the data from one system to another system, and DMA is used when the data transfer is occur between hard disk system memory, when the IO or need for large amount data from the peripheral devices to the memory addresses into the system, or a large amount of data is to be transferred by the IOs. Uh, it has DMA has three modes of operations. First one is a single transfer at a time, and then release of a hold on the system bus. Second one is burst transfer at a time, then release of hold on the system bus. Bulk transfer, and then release of the hold on the system bus after the transfer is completed. And DMA controller. This is this is the process of DMA, and DMA transfers the control by DMA controller, which is requires to control the bus from CPU. DMA controller has CPU and CPU and devices. The data bus and control buses are used for transfer the data. After this process, the data is given into the DMA controller. It will hold into the read and write, and DMA transfer is facilitated by DMAC, which is a DMA controller. Data transfer occurs efficiently between input devices and system memory. Input devices and system memory with the least processor inventing using DMAC. The system address and data buses become unavailable to the processor and available to the IO device that connects DMAC. Besides processor, other devices also get the right to the use of system memory. The system bus is not accessible by processor, internal address, and data buses during the acknowledged active. First, the memory decoder, memory selector are given the data into read or write port. It will given into the RAM. Then the output is given into the port with one or set of addresses for DMAC operation, and through the IO bus device to send or receive from the RAM. The DMAC controls give the DMA request and DMAC acknowledgement from the decoder port selector. DMAC may provide memory access to the multiple channels, and DMAC provides DMAC action from system memories and two devices. DMA facilitates a multi-byte data set or a burst of data or a block of data transfer between the external device and system or between two systems. A device that facilitates DMA transfer processing element called DMA controller. And when using a DMAC, data transfer occurs efficiently between the input devices and the system memory with least processor invention. The buses and control signals between the processor, memory, DMA controller, and transferring IO device. And following three modes are supported in DMA operations. First one is single transfer at a time, then release IO bus and hold on the system to each transfer. Bus to transfer at a time and then release IO bus hold on the system bus, and bulk transfer at a time to release and IO bus hold on the system bus, and after the transfer is controlled. And uses of DMAC, uses of the direct memory access controller. Whenever DMAC request is made to the DMAC for IOs, DMAC is first initialized. It's programmed for read or write mode of DMA transfer and total number of bytes to be transferred, starting memory address. Whenever DMA request by external device is made to the DMAC, the CPU's request the DMA transfer by DMAC at the start to the initiate the DMAC and at the end to notify and end of DMAC and DMA. And we can see the multi-channel DMAC. Multi-channel DMAC also provide memory access to the multiple channels. A multi-channel DMAC provides DMA action from system memories and two devices. There is a separate set of registers for programming each channel. There may be separated or common interrupt channels in case of multiple channel and DMAX. And uses of DME channel. The use of DME channels for IO service in place of processor interrupt driven ISRs provides efficient method when the device has to be transfer large amount of data by IO, and this may because DMA transfer. Here the block diagram for a bus with a DMA controller. When the DMA requires two bus signals, first one is bus request and second one is bus grant. Whenever the bus request is given from the DMA controller to CPU, the input device sends the data into memory device. So the memory device asks a request for bus. DMA asks for the ownership of the bus. Bus grant means the CPU grant the permission to access the bus for DMA. This is the process of interchanging the data from input devices to memory device. And data transfer occurs by hard disk and system memory. Here is the process of DMA is transfer the data from hard disk to RAM. And next one is peripheral disk, which has multiple device and external hard disk, multi-byte data sets. It may be this is the second mode of operation. Bus transfer at the time and take releases of IO ports, hold the system bus. Last one is bus bulk transfer, which means external hard disk. It has a bulk data of bytes. It will transfer the data and it will transfer the data, then release the IO bus and hold the system by only after the transfer is completed. And here is the total process of DMAC. First of all, processor BIU sends the read or write records to RAM. Then it will send the bus hold and available acknowledgements to the DMAC. Then the port of set of address given into the DMA operation, and IO bus give the data to device to send or receive from the RAM. In between the DMAC and DMA operation, there is acknowledgement and request or processed. And here is three types of already I told it has three modes of operation. First one is single transfer at a time, bus transfer at a time, and bulk transfer at a time. Single transfer means byte transfer, released to the IO bus hold in each other, and bus transfer is a kilobytes transfer, released to the IO bus hold in each other, and bulk transfer is released the IO bus hold after the transfer is completed. And the way of DMAC is first DMAC control, and in between the DMAC operation, DMAC is first initialized, then it will given to the read or wrote or mode These are the applications, mode of DMA transfer, and total number of bytes to be transferred, starting memory addresses. And here there are some examples for DMAC units. 8086 microprocessor and 8085's microprocessor does not have DMAC units, and 8085 DMAC, because 8086 and 8085s are processors, it's not a controller, so it does not have DMAC units. In controllers only we can see the DMAC units, that is 8051. Family members like 83C152J and MC68340 microcontroller have two DMA channel on chips. Okay, these are all the examples for microprocessor and microcontroller units.